this session, we are going to discuss with you with the disaster management plan. And as I told you that Disaster Management Act came in 2005, and Act is saying that there should be national plan, there should be state plan, there should be district plan. And then there was a policy. We have disaster management policy. The national policy came in 2009, and that is also supporting the same thing. Prime Minister recently, Honorable Prime Minister has given 10 points program for disaster risk reduction, and that is also saying that in case there is a proper planning for disaster risk reduction at every level, then we can do a lot, in disaster risk reduction. So in this context, I think let us first discuss the National Disaster Management Plan, which came in 2016 but revised in 2019. The cause of revision is that in 2015 many events happened. There was Sindai framework, which is very important for us, which is Bible for disaster risk reduction, and that is 15-year plan for the whole world, I should say. So Sindai framework priorities, we should know the priorities and we should have these priorities in the planning. So this is one. Second thing is that sustainable development goals. So this again came in 2015 up to 2030. Then the third thing is Paris Agreement, because natural disasters are related with climate change, and this came in 2015. So I think it was necessary to revise the national plan, and the 19 plan is much more comprehensive and covering each and every aspect, particularly of the Sindai framework. The priority one, knowing risk. The second priority, disaster governance. Third priority, which is investing in disaster risk reduction. And fourth is for preparedness, build back better. So all these priorities are mentioned or in detail discussed, in 2019 national policy. Then the second thing is the state policy. And every state today, we have 29 states and union territories. Today, each and every state is having a state policy. And state policy is very critical in the sense that national policy is giving you overall picture, but state policy is state specific. What are the vulnerabilities for the state, for which disaster, how many hazards, and then what are the resources available, how we are going to use those resources, and all these things will be part of the state plan. This is again giving direction to the districts, that the state is having this kind of the vulnerability and how we can minimize the losses which is happening in disaster every year. Third and the most important for me is district disaster management plan. And every district today is having a plan. Some of the states like Bihar, they have gone in much more detail and they have prepared a model plan. One of the district, Madhubani, they have gone in much more detail and it is considered as one of the model. Though every state is having a model, district which is doing better than others, but they have gone in much more detail basically. And district plan is having the basics which I discussed with you, that is hazard, vulnerability and risk. So this analysis, this assessment is important, that how many hazard the state is vulnerable for, and so that you can have a comprehensive, you can have a multi-hazard approach when we talk about preparedness, when we talk of mitigation and response. So knowing hazard, So this is the first principle, first priority of Sindai framework, and this is the base of the district plan. Then the second thing will be the vulnerability. How many blocks or panchayats, what is their economic condition, whether it is low-lying area, which disasters are more common in that area. Some of the areas are prone to so many disasters, like sometimes half of the district is prone for flood and half of the district is prone for drought. So this kind of situation. So I think the most critical thing is district plan, and that should have the idea of not only vulnerability assessment but the resources with the district. With the institutional framework, how many institutions, mainstreaming means that each and every department of the should involve, in the process. It is not only the district collector who is responsible, but I think each and every officer should be given some responsibility. Forest department, irrigation department, and in case they will work together, then definitely we can minimize losses. We are advocating, I was in the high power committee, and from those days, from 1999 onwards, we are discussing that there should be culture of preparedness, culture of mitigation, culture of response, quick response, culture of rehabilitation. I think that is important, and this culture means that in case each and every person, each and every officer is involved, then definitely we can have this culture. In other countries, I have seen, which are supposed to be the best, in disaster risk reduction, they spend 90% of their energy resources on making a plan. So only 10% time in implementation. And our process is different, We just spend very less time on planning and more time on firefighting. When something happens, then we all work day and night. And so I think this component we also discuss, and I would like to give some case studies where in case we are efficiently, if we are making a plan efficiently, then definitely the execution of the project that will be very easy. Last part is that the district plan, state plan and national plan, they should be linked together. Otherwise, there is no use. If suppose national plan is giving the national guidelines, policies, etc., state plan is totally different, district plan is altogether different, then it has no meaning. And my last point in this session will be that in case we go in much more detail and go up to the panchayat level, then things will be much easy. And Sikkim, we are doing this, that we are making panchayat level plans and involving people, community, in this process, and definitely it will be more effective than other districts. So all these things will be discussed in this session. Thank you.